Our next question, Jim, was sent in via email to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from The Wise Man. As an NWA fan growing up in the...
Wait a minute, I thought there was 3 of those.
No, it's The, T-H-A, Wise Man. I know his real name.
Okay.
According to his email, I know his real name, too, and it's certainly not The Wise Man. As an NWA fan growing up in the 1980s, I would always go to the Civic Center to see the best in the business go head-to-head. The NWA would never go back to Huntington, and the WWE never came to Charleston. I realize now, because of the way the territories were laid out, there's no follow-up to that sentence. I guess there was supposed to be something else. I realize now, because of the way the territories are laid out, I guess that's why they never came back.
Yeah, well, in Crockett's days, he ran both the Charleston Civic Center on a regular basis and a Huntington Civic Center on a spot show basis. Because they're only 50 miles apart, right? And it's kind of the same metropolitan area. So when the WCW and WWF wars broke out, then basically WWF got the Huntington Civic Center by promising them they would go there more often, such as, every time they were in the market, whereas the NWA or WCW ended up with Charleston because that had been the building that Crockett ran more often anyway. That's how that happened. But, once again, Crockett would run both of them. And it was amazing. You would go up there to Charleston at least once a month and do a decent house, sometimes great house, and then go to Huntington, only 50 miles down the road, a few weeks later and do another good house. It was really a wrestling hotbed at that time, but that's why the two companies ended up splitting up like that.
With AEW's announcement to make Charleston the 5th stop and a live event, is it safe to say that Charleston was the first step in taking back the territory? As far as I know, Charleston has never sold out for a wrestling event for any promotion.
What?
If it indeed sells out, I don't see the WWE coming back as long as AEW provides a solid product. This, to me, is the kind of differences and thinking that could give AEW the edge in the long haul, and I'm patiently awaiting your thoughts.
I lost some of that around the far turn, but I don't know why they picked Charleston otherwise than I believe somebody said they're trying to be around colleges as much as possible, because a lot of college kids, if you watch Ridiculousness or whatever, a lot of college kids apparently like this fucking wacky goofiness. And there's probably validity to that. But no, Charleston was a great wrestling town going back years and years, and it has somewhat of a wrestling tradition. I don't know if taking Charleston or conquering the Battle of Charleston is taking the territories back. I'm not sure I'd go that far. But Charleston has in the past drawn big for wrestling. The Great American Bash, and I can't even reach my midnight book right now. I'm tied down, but I want to say the Great American Bash 86 was a sellout. It did $113,000, as I recall, at the Civic Center. There's been a number of big back in the 70s. Flair and Blackjack Mulligan, as I remember, probably would have filled the place up. I know it sold out for at least a couple of those Monday Night Wars WCW tapings. So but at the same time, there's not a great population there. I don't mean great. There's not a large population in Charleston, West Virginia. I think the metropolitan area is like 250,000. So we shall see. I was not surprised by any of the other towns that they announced. All Elite announced to do TV in, the Bostons, Philadelphia's, et cetera, but Charleston was we'll see what happens. That's the town I was trying to get Ring of Honor to establish. By the way, when I remember I told a story about when the fucking office boy wanted to charge $60 for front row tickets in Charleston. He said, well, I said, for a brand new wrestling promotion, why don't we, let them get in and get a taste of it, right? We had all these radio stations and local promotional opportunities and 2 television stations under the umbrella. And he got pissed. He said, well, Ringling Brothers charges more. I said, it's a fucking circus. What do you want us to do? Book a dancing bear, right? But Charleston, I've been waiting for somebody to reestablish Charleston. We'll see what happens.
How do you think it will do? Do you have any thoughts going into it? How Charleston will be for AEW?
Well, I wouldn't if I was them and they didn't sell out, I wouldn't get my feelings hurt about it, because if they can get half a house at the Charleston Civic Center, they should consider themselves lucky.